in the South. So he has given them confidence.
Okay.
And he talked about them going after the criminals. In as much as the police wants to serve Nigerians does not mean they should be attacked, you know, because the duty of the police is to protect lives and property.
Sure. All right, it's good to hear that the police is on top of its game in terms of, you know, making sure that they maintain law and order and all that. Let's talk about motivation of the force. Tell us, how are these people motivated, you know, to also be at par with the leadership of the police force in, you know, tackling all these challenges?
Now, in terms of motivation, I want to commend the present administration because they have tried. The president in 2019 signed into law, you know, an act establishing the Nigeria Police Trust Fund.
Okay.
And with that, you know, there will be funds for the police. Okay. Their welfare will be taken care of. Okay. Their needs, their logistics need will also be taken care of. Okay. Their training and retraining will also be taken care of.
Okay.
And
from what you're saying, will be taken care of. Are they smiling or they are about to smile?
And recently, the president has also given a directive to the National Salaries and Incomes and Wages Commission that they should review. They should review upward the salaries and then the benefits of police personnel. Okay. So with that decision, you know that the government of the day mean well for the police.
We know we used to have, or we still have, the police community relations that, you know, work hand in hand with the police force in other information gathering and working directly with members of the public. Tell us, in the area of information dissemination, how are they working hand in hand to maintain?
Because of the love the Buhari administration had for the Police Act that was never amended for, you know, so many years. The act was amended, you know, to, you know, accommodate community policing. Because with the recent breakdown of law and order, you know, the police and then the government has sent the need for, you know, the populace, the community to also have participation, participation in crime prevention. And, you know, most of the, you know, criminals who, you know, perpetrate one criminal act or the other, they are within the community. So community know them better. So, but with this initiative, you know, it will now give the community an opportunity to also have a say as far as, you know, policing is concerned. That is it. And I believe it's a good initiative. And I hope and pray the, you know, public will key into this because fighting crime should not, you know, be left for the police alone. Yes, it's a collective fight. The community has a role to play, and then the police has, you know, its own role to play.
All right. Thank you so much, Francis.
Thank you.
Let me end with the usual cliche. Security is everyone's business. Thank you for coming on the show, The Correspondence. We hope to see you again sometime.
Thank you.
Up next on The Correspondence, impact of the federal government social investment program in Plateau State. Join us again after this break.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. While clinical trials are ongoing for a vaccine and a possible cure, there is no known treatment for the coronavirus. Nigeria has recorded some of these cases, and people are advised to take these preventive measures to keep themselves safe and contain the further spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water, or use hand sanitizers all the time. Maintain social distancing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. If you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Do not panic. Stop the spread of unconfirmed news. Follow the official government news outlets and report all cases immediately. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Welcome back to The Correspondents. Let's take you to Jos, where the social investment program of the federal government has lifted several households out of poverty. Correspondent Saadat Mohammed Kafa reports that the program has impacted positively on the lives of more than 26,000 households in Plateau State.
On assumption of office in May 2015, the present administration promised to initiate and execute policies and programs that will address prevailing poverty and unemployment, particularly among the youths. And as a proactive government, it created programs such as NPA, NTech, Trader Money, among others, to transform lives of Nigerians. In Plateau State, the success story is felt in many families, as about 26,000 households in both rural and urban areas have testimonies of the life-changing program.
After graduation, I received a COVID-19 support through federal government. So I started my business before, like as in my family and friend. They support me with a small capital. I started the business. Then after that, I received the COVID-19 support from federal government. So I continue using the money to boost my business. Now I have 7 workers.
I'd love to appreciate, the federal government for this intervention, most especially in these trying times of COVID-19, which a lot of businesses were not able to thrive. But through this intervention, it keeps our business lively and it keeps thriving. So more grace to the federal government. I believe if the federal government keeps doing this, enabling environment will keep expanding in Nigeria.
But when I saw the alert, I was surprised. So it was wonderful. It has helped really, not just really me, but my members.
This, stakeholders say, is changing the narrative of the Nigerian economy for young entrepreneurs, commending the federal government for the initiatives.
Federal government has done the right thing by putting in place interventions and strategies that will ensure and sustain social security. What I will appeal is for the citizens to reciprocate in terms of having confidence in government, in terms of believing in the program, in terms of participating and accepting the program.
In of these interventions, you agree with me that jobs will be created because MSMEs that were at the verge of collapsing will be able to get quite a lot of assistance, and they have gotten already even from the survival fund and the interventions from the Nisal Microfinance Bank through the AXMIS funds and all these social safety nets that the government have put in place to ensure that Nigerians are able to get the dividend of democracy and we reduce the incidence of poverty.
The program has continued to engage more Nigerians in Plateau State and giving economic support to more families in different areas with far-reaching impact on the economy and social well-being.
That's great news, Sada, too. The federal government intervention has indeed given the beneficiaries a new lease of life, and that is the dividend of democracy in action. Thanks a lot. And that's the correspondence this week. Thanks so much for being part of it. We hope to see you again next week, same time. And a quick reminder that COVID-19 is still around us. Continue to abide by government regulations and safety protocols. And more importantly, get vaccinated. Take responsibility and stay safe. See you next week.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament. Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA. Keep a date with the parliamentarians.
Your eyes have it.
Everything is architected and designed by the Almighty.
Someone who is a Christian is someone who lives a life of Jesus Christ. And the life of Jesus Christ is a life of sacrifice.
Yes.
wannan labarin ma yana peji na 36.
Ita kuma babban labarin wannan jarida shine ainihin
labarin da ke gaban jarida shine ta bayyana cewa
ọkwaji Ikenga eziokwu
nwanne m nwoke
Ikechukwu Ndukwe Igbo mam
iji wee mee ka ụbọchị na-aga n'anya ya
ọjọ́ tuntun léwútẹ́lú nù.
Nation fún ti òwúrọ̀ yìí ibẹ̀ náà ti sọ pé àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ìpínlẹ̀ Benue pàṣẹ wípé.
ní gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀ka ní ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ní ẹ̀ka ètò ìlera ní ẹ̀ka ètò ààbò.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. app for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go.
Problem is not ethnicity or religion, it is ourselves.
President Buhari says religion and ethnicity are not responsible for the complexities of Nigeria.
This will go a long way in supporting the fight against the so much insecurity we have in the country.
Senate passes bill to amend Firearms Act, increases penalty for illegal importation and possession.
Has not taken off. It's funding. I'm sure if the Minister of Finance comes there, she will say a bit.
Minister of Mines and Steels interacts with members of National Assembly on Ajokuta Steel Company.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, our focus is on the role of states in boosting agriculture in Nigeria.
Studies have shown that most customs and cultures in the world revolve around agriculture. Hence, it has been described as a way of life for many people across the globe.
Well, contrary to the simple observation about the role of agriculture, which is to say the cultivation of soil for the growing of crops and the rearing of or keeping of domestic animals, agriculture can, of course, be scaled up on a commercial scale, on a commercial level, and that will also go to the industrial agriculture.
Indeed, Kingsley, agriculture does not only provide riches for the nation as the only endowment that can be confidently called national resources. Its various extensions make it a worthy and ready source of vocation for the citizens.
Well, of course, this cuts across nomadic herding, livestock ranching, shifting cultivation, intensive subsistence farming, commercial plantations, as well as commercial grain farming, and these are just to mention a few.
All right, you see, depending on the method of agriculture, as intensive, primitive, commercial, plantation, subsistence, and shifting agriculture, the fact remains that agriculture is a vital sector of the nation that must be accorded a pride of place for the good of individual member of the society and the nation at large.
Well, agriculture serves various sectors of the economy, and this it does, of course, by providing raw materials for industries, including textile and other manufacturing enterprises. And in that process, also serves as occupation for its practitioners.
Now, considering the numerous potentialities of agriculture, it becomes pertinent for government to harness agriculture for the sustainability of the nation's economy and nation building.
Well, this could be done through the provision of credit facilities to farmers, extension services, rehabilitation or construction of feeder roads, the provision of land, the building of modern storage facilities, as well as the establishment of marketing boards.
Government can also maximize agriculture by the formulation and implementation of agricultural policies, provision of credit facilities to farmers, provision of extension services, rehabilitation of feeder roads, and provision of land, building of modern storage facilities, and increased cultivation of crops.
Well, Kirian, let's just do background to the role of agriculture in an economy. Our focus today is on the role of states in boosting agriculture. We do get to hear about the many interventions by the federal government, what the federal government is doing, whether in terms of providing bulk water through dams or indeed the Anchor Borrowers programs, which is being facilitated by the Central Bank of Nigeria, de-risking agriculture and others. But what in particular should we expect states and then the local governments under them to do in ramping up agriculture so as to positively affect the nation's food security? That's our focus on Good Morning Nigeria today. My name is Kingsley Osadola, and I'd like to welcome you to this broadcast of our program.
All right, and all that which you mentioned will come after our complimentary segments of newspaper review, business, and others. And of course, we have here in the studio our colleague, Comfort Amodu, who is with the Good Morning News. Hello, Comfort.
Good morning, Kirian and Kingsley. A very good morning, Nigerians. President Muhammadu Buhari says, contrary to widely held belief that religion and ethnicity are responsible for the complexities of the Nigerian condition, the people are indeed to blame for the inherent injustices across the land. The President spoke recently at an audience with members of the Muhammadu Buhari Oshbajo Dynamic Support Group who paid him a solidarity visit.
Our problem is not ethnicity or religion, it is ourselves. And I'm dedicated to serving Nigeria and Nigerians because the love is genuine. Thank goodness nobody ever accused me of corruption.
And President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated his Chinese counterpart, President Xi Jinping, on the 100th anniversary celebration of Communist Party of China. In a letter to the Chinese leader, the president said China has succeeded in building a moderately prosperous society and is on the way to building a modern socialist country. In a statement, President Buhari shared economic, trade relations and cumulatively dynamic people exchange between Nigeria and China. Illegal importation and possession of firearms in Nigeria has been a problem, producing wide-range security implications, with these law breakers appearing more daring. Worried by this, the Senate is amending the Firearms Act to increase the fines contained in the act thereof.
To establish a comprehensive and coordinated disarmament process and destruction of all illegal firearms by the Office of the National Security Advisor.
That has been taken and the bill is passed. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. I'm sure this will go a long way in supporting the fight against the so much insecurity we have in the country.
And in keeping to its commitment of ensuring accelerated passage of the 2021 supplementary budget, the House of Representatives has passed it for second reading. This is coming 24 hours after the presidential request was read by at plenary.
It will be too much to spend on the health and the well-being of our people. Mr. Speaker, security is also one area that we are being concerned with.
Any opposition to the supplementary bill? Anybody wants to speak against it? Put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekan Adegbite, has urged the National Assembly to increase budgetary allocation to the sector to ensure the reactivation of the Ajakuta Steel Company in Kogi State. He made the plea at an interactive session with the Joint Committee on Solid Minerals, Steel Development and Metallurgy.
Ajakuta Steel Company from producing. What are the stagnation? What are the encumbrances you are having? Should there be any legislative support that will be required to fast track the reactivation?
Why Ajakuta has not taken off? It's funding. I'm sure if the Minister of Finance comes there, she will say a bit. But I will implore the National Assembly, the two committees, that, well, there's another opportunity coming up shortly. Please let us be funded properly.
We now turn our attention to Enugu State, where the city has remained calm after the news of the arrest of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOD, filtered into the state.
My humble suggestion that we need the peace from the Nigerian. When we join hands together,
it is government. It's what government, anybody who be on the powers in the government, it is what he said we have to follow.
And in the meantime, religious leaders are admonished to lay emphasis on the propagation of religious harmony, which will in turn bring about peaceful coexistence among the diverse citizens of the country. John Cardinal Onaikan gave the advice at a summit on peaceful coexistence among Nigerians in Abuja.
How many pastors and reverend fathers talk about good relations with Muslims in their Sunday services? And do imams take the trouble to talk about good relations with Christians in their worship sessions on Friday? We have to work on this if we are to achieve some amount of religious harmony.
Now to health. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control has announced 75 new cases of COVID-19 in 6 states of the Federation as at the 30th of June 2021. In the new figures, Lagos has 47 new cases, followed by Gombe with 15. Then the FCT and Rivers states having 4 cases each. Others are Kaduna with 3 new cases, while Ekiti recorded 2 new cases. This increases the total number of confirmed cases.
Probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together. Nigerian youths are about the greatest asset the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support, yes, by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, The Sports Parliament, revitalized with lots of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that exposes all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m., running for 1 whole hour, discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the Sports Parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the Sports Parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The House have it.
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria, and we're broadcasting from the Abuja headquarters studios of the Nigerian Television Authority. It's time for business news, and let's rejoin our correspondent, Comfort Amodu, for details of the stories.
The manufacturing
sector in Nigeria is set to be focal to the achievement of economic development and growth. Recognizing the huge impact and viability of this sector, key players in the industry have harped on the need for government to reposition as well as revive ailing industries with special attention on the print media, which can attract foreign direct investment to the country.
Papers that are being imported into this country alone per annum, we import over ₦1 trillion worth of paper, both with government and the private sectors. We don't produce a single paper.
This sector is worth over 3 trillion naira. We should come together and see how printers' job can remain in Nigeria, how they can get necessary support from the necessary authority like the CBN, Bank of Industry and all that.
I think government needs to put more commitments in making sure our mills are up to date. How can we have a plan for a new plant to run this industry so it can be easy for printers and even not only the printer, even for the newspaper industry as well to grow?
Inadequate power, funding and poor infrastructure are identified as some of the challenges bedeviling the sector. Players have recommended to government to make adequate foreign exchange.
Over $100,000 to fund, and then you have just 20,000 in 3 months. So how do you make cost for the fruit different? So you resort into going to the black market to go and source it at a huge cost. So
equities market trades closed on a positive note.
Oh, thank you, Comfort, for that business package. Next on Good Morning Nigeria is a review of today's national dailies. Newspaper review.
Newspaper reviewer Bayo Toby is right here with us in the studios. Bayo, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, Kinsley. Good morning. Good morning, Kyria. Good morning.
Yeah, Bayo, it's good to see you again today.
Thank you.
So let's begin with the Nation newspaper. Above the name flag of the newspaper, we have some trending stories. Bandits kill Zamfara lawmaker, attack Ganduja's convoy. That's on page 8. ACF. North governors not tackling unemployment. That's on page 4. Buhari settles 100 billion naira retirees' pension liabilities. The story is captured in details on page 25. Tinubu welcomes Matawale to APC. It's on page 6. Now, the lead story this morning on the Nation newspaper, economy at half year, investors lose 1.2 trillion naira. Naira depreciates by 8%. With the rider, inflation increases by 13.8%. Security probes Kanu to uncover IPOB financiers. With riders, Kanu's call logs. Social media accounts being screened. UK may initiate talks with government. Igbo leaders, others call for fair hearing. He may be charged with inciting killings. All right, well, that's about it all on the edition newspaper on the front page. Kinsley.
Okay, let's also take a look at the Punch newspaper. From above the name flag, the following headlines. House of Reps may consider PIB report today. Defaulted airlines passengers risk $3,500 fine. And FG bans India and other flights. 8 journalists killed, 300 violations recorded under Buhari. That's according to a report. Details of that you can find on page 9. And on page 7, land borders reopening motion divides reps. Now, 2 earpieces beside the nameplate. Airpeace suspends Johannesburg flights over surging South African COVID-19 cases. NBA faults planned Land Use Act review. SANS say move suspicious. Then the double-decker headline for the lead story, it says, "We are seeking explanation from federal government on Kanu's arrest," says Britain. Details you can find on page 2, along with the 3 riders to that headline. Namely, UK ready to provide consular assistance to Kanu, demands due process. Biafran agitators' lawyers write DSS, alleged IPOB leader was kidnapped. Kenya authorities handed over Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria, alleges IPOB. Then the photographs there on the front page of the paper have, of course, the following headline that explains it all. It says, Secondus and others storm Senate over Onoche, threatened sacking defecting senators. Loretta Onoche, of course, is an aide to the president, and she's been nominated to serve on the Independent Electoral Commission. Matawale mourns as bandits kill Zamfara lawmaker in Katsina. Wife laments as gunmen kidnap 8 ceramic workers in Kogi. And youth unemployment, a time bomb in North. That's according to the ACF. Why we've not taken Super TV CEO's suspected killer to court. That's according to the police. Grieving mother knocks FCT school. Alleges 14-year-old daughter died after defilement. That's on pages 4 and 5. 3 policemen allegedly injured in Ganduje's convoy attack in Zamfara. Bayo.
Thank you, Kingsley. Well, apart from the sad news about a Zamfara State House of Assembly member being killed, the convoy of Governor of Kano State also came under attack by bandits, and it's giving security agents a matter of concern. But a more sad story also is from Jangene in Gusau local government area, where 9 members of one family died after a meal. A sister has visited the house and fetched sorghum, that is the local dawa, from a grain silos and taken it to a grinding machine. She prepared a meal for the children, and one child died apparently after taking that meal. While they were struggling to look at the child, 3 others were rushed to hospital. Unfortunately, they died. When they were taken to the cemetery to bury them, 3 other children who also partook in the meal and their sister who prepared the meal, all of them died. Apparently, they had not noted that a rabbit that had also eaten from the sorghum had died. The implication is that apparently the grains have been treated with herbicide, which is very poisonous. And that is very instructive to all of us. These days, farmers tend to preserve their foodstuff with herbicides, and some of them, most often than not, are very poisonous. This is a basis for which the initiative by Nigerian farmers to export some grains abroad were discouraged, because so many of them were found to have been used herbicides, and such herbicides are found to be, unfortunately...
I'm sorry, I'll jump in here, so that you're talking about human interest story.
Yes.
There's a story I read on the front page of the Punch. It says, grieving mother knocks FCT school, alleges 14-year-old daughter died after defilement. Now, this school is in the Lugbe area of the Federal Capital City. But stories you can find on pages 4 and 5. I'm sure it's going to be a continuing story. And all those who are interested in matters of this nature certainly, have a battle on their hands to get to the root of what transpired. Now, the 14-year-old pupil of Premier Academy in Lugbe is said to have died, according to the report, of an infection after a condom was found in her private part. That's what the Punch is reporting on pages 4 and 5 of the paper. There's also another human interest story. Now, This is a feature published by the Punch on page 3. Maybe you can see this. I just say, look, this is the headline of that story, if we can get that on the screen, on page 3 of the Punch. Our dad died in Sierra Leonean peace mission. Bandits killed his son in the police. Another gunned down in Kebbi. This is according to Aleji, who is a brother of a policeman who was killed by bandits in Birni Yauri. You remember the abduction that took place in Birni Yauri now? It says that Sergeant Friday Aleji died of gunshot injuries due to his bravery, even when others beat a retreat in the gun duel with rampaging bandits who stormed the federal government college, Birni Yauri, and whisked away 94 students and 8 members of staff of the school.
So the father and 2 children have laid down their life in fighting and defending this nation from criminals.
Absolutely.
Sad. Well, the other story about press freedom 2021, specifically by the Media Foundation of West Africa, has indicated that 8 journalists have been killed since the year between 2017 and 2019. They listed some of them to include Lanre Okoji of the NTA Benin, a camera of Anambra Broadcasting Services, a freelance broadcaster, and also you recall during the riot by the Islamic movement in July 2019, an intern with a television station was also killed. The report did not indicate whether any of the killings were political or had state involvement. The report says that there is no credible inquiry yet to find the culprits and the motive for the fatal attack. The report says that there were 300 other violations affecting 500 journalists and media workers throughout Nigeria. The report was presented by one Mr. Frank Tietie. Nnamdi Kanu's brother, Kingsley Kanu, says that his brother was arrested in Kenya. He's categorical about that. He, however, says that his brother has been subjected to what is described as most violation of his international law of extraordinary rendition. I don't know whether that is a diplomatic language, but he alleges that on Wednesday, Kenya authorities detained his brother until he was extradited to Nigeria. Daily Trust, however, reports that his hope of regaining freedom through the British intervention is very suspicious because the paper described it as a mirage. His family has reported to have appealed to United Kingdom authorities to intervene on his behalf. But the paper quotes that on the 19th page of a pamphlet to its nationals, particularly those in foreign nations, it says that we cannot get you out of prison or detention, nor can we get special treatment for you because you are a British citizen. If you are a dual British national in the country of your other nationality, we will not normally offer you support or get involved in dealings between you and the authority of that state. However, the Punch, as Kingsley read earlier on, has a different perspective. It says the head of communication of the British High Commission, Mr. Dean Horlock, says that the High Commission is seeking clarification in the circumstances of the arrest, and he says the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office was ready to provide consular services to the proscribed APOB leader. President Muhammadu Buhari has made good the need to pay pensioners who are owed pensions as far back as 2014. He has authorized the Minister of Finance to make a payment of 62.83 billion to clear liabilities of pension, which covers 2020, 2021, and forward-looking up to 2022. The payment is included the 25% differential. You will recall that employer were supposed to contribute 7.5%, but in the Pension Act of 2014 that was reviewed, it was increased to 10%. So the payment has now been made, and therefore the implication is that those who retire from service since 2020 and have not been able to get their pension can now hope that PENCOM is processing their payment.
What about 2020? What about
2020, 2021, 2018, and all of the backlog?
But there's one story that you actually analyzed that I'm concerned about, the issue of banditry. Is it on the increase or on the decline? The governor of Kanu's convoy was attacked. And of course, we read a series of banditry attacks, across the northern part of the country. So, what is being worked out, to actually end this banditry or bring it to the lowest ebb? Because it does appear that the activity is on the increase, and I wouldn't know what is being done about that.
Well, for insurgency, one can confidently say that there has been a serious decline since the advent of the reported death of Shekarau.
The banditry.
Yes. But apparently, there has been a fusion between insurgency and banditry. Those who were recognizing as bandits before are now gradually metamorphosing into insurgents, particularly in Niger State, and that seems to be on the increase. But the recent initiatives by the state governments involving local hunters and local vigilantes with security agencies is beginning to have some serious effect on the activities of bandits?
I wouldn't know, but I mean the story that Kirian is referring to, you saw that story highlighted on the screen a while ago. What happened yesterday, the governor of Zamfara, Matawale, defected from the PDP to the APC. It was a big political event. Unfortunately, a member of the Zamfara State House of Assembly was shot by bandits in the state. And the convoy of the governor of Kano, who was also there, was also attacked, and policemen were injured. Now, that draws attention to a key governance issue that ought to continue to engage the attention of managers of the polity. That, look, beyond this political show, you have defected, APC has welcomed you, get down to work.
I'm talking about defection. That has also affected the balance of parties in the National Assembly. You recall that at the inception of the National Assembly, the balance of the parties was about 40 PDP senators to that of the APC. With the defection of three APC senators and one senator from Delta North, making 5, and one other senator from Adamawa North last year, you now have the PDP losing about 5 senators to the APC. APC now has 70 senators, so 70 of senators, and YPP has 1, making the 109.
Well, as 2023 draws nearer, we are going to have more defections, you know, to either of the parties, that APC going to PDP or PDP to APC. This has been a recurring decimal, you know. For me, it's no news, you know, that these people are cross-carpeting because of their own individual political gains, not because of the gains of their constituencies. That has been playing out over the years, and to me, it's becoming childish, if you ask me. I mean, these defections and all of that. Nobody is in a party based on the philosophy of the party, just on the party based on what you're going to gain as an individual and what have you. And if you cannot learn, you know, all this while, over 20 years of partisan democracy in Nigeria, I wonder how it's going to be. If this is what happens, you know, in other climes, then, of course, I don't understand democracy anymore. But if it is democracy that we know, I don't see reasons why people should be cross-carpeting, governors cross-carpeting, and all of that. That is an indication that they are not serious about this issue of belonging to a party based on your conviction, you know, on the manifesto of the party and philosophy of that party. So,
well, you see, when a party, we have political parties that don't have ideological political base, that is what you get. And what I found most astounding is the double speak of the politicians. When they are the one receiving the decampees, they say it is their fundamental human right, freedom of association, to belong wherever they want. But when they are the one losing, they decide to say that the mandate belongs to the party, and if you want to decamp, you should resign and come.
This is the double speak that baffles me. He quoted some acts or whatever it is that, you know, even the governor of River State was also threatening that they will go to court and what have you. So
yes, 5 senior advocates of Nigeria have been arranged to challenge the decamping of governor of Zamfara.
Okay, Bayo and Kirian, we're going to have to wrap up newspaper review. Now, we're going to take the editorial, but I was just wondering, there are 2 very important sports stories.
Yes.
I was just seeing them now. I just call attention to them very quickly. Kirian, I'm sure this might also interest you. The Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare, has a headline here: "Shut up and work, Dare tells Raw." Yes. Raw is the coach of the Super Eagles, and the minister was saying that the coach should shut up and work because of his attitude towards home-based players. The other story is a sad one on obituary: Lee Evans. Lee Evans was a globally acclaimed quarter-miler. He was an American. He settled in Nigeria. Unfortunately, he passed away in May this year. He used to be buried today at the Olusegun Odegbami International College and Sports Academy. There's a private cemetery there for him. Lee Evans was a record holder for many years.
Editorial: meeting Nigeria's housing deficits.
Housing deficit. Well, one among the basic necessities of man is, apart from food, shelter, food and clothing, is shelter. And one of the concerns which we have often expressed on this program here is the high cost of accommodation. And this is because, like we once said, you have a seller's market. there are fewer houses than people who are looking for houses. The editorial is saying that there's about housing deficit ranges between 17 million to 22 million. And unless there is bold initiative carried out to enhance provision for accommodation across the nation, this thing will continue to dodge the nation for a long time.
Okay, Bayo Toby, thank you very much. We can't get into details of that. Neither can we discuss the story that is also in the Punch, that one of the political parties, People's Redemption Party, PRP, has nominated a herbalist to be his governorship candidate in the Anambra governorship election in November. So Bayo Toby, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're watching Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service of the NTA. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we're going to have with the role of states in agriculture.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. As his mother, it is my duty to help him live up to his dream. That's why I give him Born Vita every day, which contains iron, zinc, and vitamin C that supports his immunity and gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
Dialogue, empathy, love, and unity. These are vital components of nation building.
For all to be well, we appeal that we should refrain from volatile, provocative, inciting messages and language.
Let's build and not destroy.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest asset the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support, yes, by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria, pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
You're still watching Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Now, to get ahead with our conversation this morning, let's listen into this background report on the role of states in agriculture and ultimately the nation's food security.
The inception of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration ushered in a new era of diversification of the country's economy, away from oil, which has been the country's only source of income. The government's embrace of agriculture as an alternative source of income to the country was a stepping stone towards the diversification agenda of the president. With vast areas of opportunities remaining untapped, and it is one sector believed to provide millions of jobs for the teeming youths and some other unemployed in the country. However, with many people venturing into agriculture, lack of accessibility to markets that causes many products to rot and spoil, resulting in wastages, is part of the many roles identified as needed to be considered by the states. This will be in addition to good road networks to aid transportation of agricultural products from the farm down to the markets. Some have likewise called for proper security for farmers in order to ensure proper food security as well as encourage farmers in their farming activities. It is also believed that states can help in some agricultural development through support for agro-allied industries and farming extension services. What more does the states need to do to enhance agriculture, and how best can farmers help in achieving and attaining food sufficiency in the country? These are some of the questions the guest on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria will be answering shortly.
Well, we appreciate that report by Oyemi Ajayi. Now, joining us on the program from our Kano studio to x-ray this issue is the Kano State Governor, Alhaji Abdullahi Omar Ganduje. Thank you, Your Excellency, for finding time to join us on Good Morning Nigeria today.
Good morning for inviting me. Good morning. I thank you.
All right. And with us via Zoom from Akure is the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Ondo State on Agriculture, Akin Olotu. Akin, good morning and welcome to the program.
All right, and here with us in the Abuja studios, we would like to welcome the Acting Secretary of Agriculture and Rural Development Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration. That's Chukwuemeka Prospect Ibe. Mr. Ibe, pleasure to have you with us on
Thank you. Good morning,
Nigeria
Nigerians.
By the way, for the benefit of our viewers, a secretary in the Federal Capital Territory is the equivalent of a commissioner at the state level. So we'll begin the conversation with His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Omar Ganduje. Well, Your Excellency, first I would like to commiserate with you and then, of course, to also be thankful over the incident that occurred in Zamfara yesterday when your convoy was reported to have been attacked by bandits. We hope that all is well with you and all will continue to be well, not just with you, but with the rest of the country. But more specifically, on the issue of the role of states in agriculture, our chief focus is actually on how states can also contribute to what the federal government is doing. And in this case, in talking about states, we're also referring to local governments, which are directly under the control of states, and how we can eventually enhance our nation's food security. You are obviously aware of the escalating prices of foodstuff in recent months and how that is impacting the living wage of many Nigerians. But tell us, Your Excellency, we appear to hear more about projects and commissioning and less about agriculture from the states. Why does this appear to be so? Or is the narrative different?
Thank you very much for showing your concern about the insecurity situation in Zamfara that took place